Hi, I'm Meenakshi Shedde. I'm Senior Program Advisor South Asia to the Toronto International Film Festival. I'm here with the team of the fantastic film Superboys of Malegaon. This is Reema Kagti, the director, Shashank Arora, actor, Nasir Shaikh, on whose life it is based, and Varun Grover, the writer. Congratulations to the team. This is a very, very, very special film. Which tributes Nasir Bhai's life because he made these really inventive movies in Malegaon with zero budget, community sourced, and had so much fun doing it, and for the audience as well. But what to you was the main appeal of the film, and what made, I mean, you probably get 1 million scripts a day. What was it that made you want to make this film and feel compulsive about it?
I think it's Nasir and how inspiring he is as an individual. And there's just so much, there's so many layers in this story that I could connect with. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, like.
Well, I mean, there is a, that huge underdog story of achieving your dreams against all odds.
Yeah.
I think Nasir and I are from the same generation. All his influences are my influences.
Lovely.
And this film is like a tribute to all of those people who inspired us.
Yeah.
There's also a friendship story. There's, how it's just so much nicer to work with friends.
Yeah.
And there's also, the fact that cinema is magical and cinema can also immortalize people.
Oh.
So there were all these layers that I think we connected with.
Fantastic. At some level of the many layers which are very rich and adding to the film, every part of it, somehow at one level it's just the sheer audacity somehow that gets to me completely, and a kind of tributing Indian jugaad, like whatever it is, okay, I'm going to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Was that partly, is that something for you that also defines Indian cinema per se in a way, like some insanity that says, no, whatever happens, we're going to do it? Is that something that comes to you?
Yeah, but also I think that Nasir was functioning at, he had so little to do what he did, and he did it so well. And he represented people that were never going to be represented. He put it, he literally put Malegaon in the filmmaking map of India.
That's really fantastic. So I think one of the many things is also, not only does this film really celebrate, as she said, friendships and stuff, but also it celebrates small townness, it celebrates the Muslim community, which is really special in today's India, and really audacity and cinematic imagination. It's really fantastic. So Shashank, you're like a major anchor of the film and you have a huge emotional arc, but also an emotional anchor of the film. And you have a huge body of work behind you from Titli and a whole range of films, Made in Heaven and so on. Where does this film stand in your career? And what was the appeal of this role for you?
I think each film, each project you work on stands as special. And this one is as special because, telling stories is a privilege. And I think Nasir's life is testament to that. And it's a privilege which I am very happy to have. And I'm very happy to be a part of this film with these artists here sitting next to me. It's an honor, and so that's something you relate to instantly when you read a script written by Varun, and which is about Nasir's life, and Reema's directing it. You're very happy as an actor.
This is kind of fairly familiar territory to you. You've been studying at Montreal, but this is at least your third film. You had Mouton, you had Manto here. And this is at least your third film, if not more. So this is, I think of the whole team, this is very special to have this many films in TIFF, and generally, of course, other than Titli at Cannes and so on. Does it place a pressure on you in any way, or you weren't thinking of all that when you made the film? And also, I'd also like to ask, what was the biggest challenge of working in the film for you? Because it's quite different from your earlier work somehow.
It doesn't place a pressure on you. I don't think as an artist you should take a pressure of being in a festival or selling a 100 crore film. The pressure is to be honest to the story and to be honest to the words that the writer has written and what your director wants. What was the second half of your question? I'm so sorry.
What to you was the most difficult part of shooting the film in relating to the character, getting under his skin?
To understand this world of Malegaon, I come from a very privileged part of Delhi. I don't understand the functionings of Malegaon. It took me some research, took me some understanding of the dialect, of how people live there, of their conflicts, of their problems, and so then you piece together this human being, and that's part of the process.
Lovely. No, it was really a magnificent performance. नासिर भाई, आपने बहुत पिक्चर बनाई है, आप दुनिया भर घूमे हैं डायरेक्टर की तरफ से. मालेगांव का चिंटू, राइट? आपने जो डायरेक्ट किया in Malaysia, in Dubai, in Venice, Hong Kong, Mauritius. He's really traveled the world other than making this wonderful. The film, on Malegaon itself, on how they made their films, Superman of Malegaon. आपका क्या एक्सपीरियंस है यहाँ आके, और आपकी ज़िंदगी के बारे में? इतनी बड़ी फैंटास्टिक स्टूडियो बना रही है, आपके बारे में पिक्चर, तो आपको क्या लगता है, कैसे लग रहा है?
बड़ी खुशी हो रही मुझको कि फिल्म हमारे यहाँ पे इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे, अब ये जो पहले हम सोचते थे, सपना देखते थे कि हमारी फिल्म में भी ऐसे बाहर जाना चाहिए, पहले जैसे सोचते थे, तो आज वो सपना पूरा हो रहा, तो बड़ी ज़्यादा खुशी हो रही चीज़ की। और ये हर बार बोले कि मेरे ऊपर भरोसा करें, और मैं इनको बोलूँगा, जोया जी को और रीमा जी को, कि ये मेरे ऊपर भरोसा करे, ये मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है। ये मतलब ये चॉइस करे स्टोरी को, और ये इसको स्क्रीन पर ला के दुनिया को बताए, हमारी जो मेहनत जो थी दुनिया को बताएंगे, तो वो बहुत खुशी हो रही है चीज़ के लिए मुझको।
Wonderful. So I was asking about that. He's actually traveled a lot around the world. He's made Malegaon Ka Chintu, for which he was director, and he's shot in all kinds of places, and he's traveled to Switzerland and Hong Kong and Italy and around the world. So this is not a very new thing for him. And I asked him what it meant to have such a huge studio and such top artists making a film on his life. And he said that they trusted me was the big thing, that they honored me with this film is the big thing, and I also trusted them right back. And आपको आपकी ज़िंदगी में क्या था जब आपके बचपन में या जवानी में, जो आपको ऐसे बिल्कुल ज़िद्दी बनाए, जो आपके दिल में है, आपको करना ही है? माने जो आप जोया जी कल बोल रहे थे कि बॉलीवुड में जब फिल्म बनाते हैं बजट लगना है, फिर प्रोड्यूसर चाहिए वगैरह, माने बहुत टाइम लगता है डिवेलपमेंट में, बहुत टाइम लगता है। आपने दिमाग में आइडिया और आपने शुरू कर दी, माने आप बहुत बिंदास हो, तो ये क्वालिटी कहाँ से आई आपकी ज़िंदगी में, कैसे आई?
नहीं, फिल्म जब देखते थे ना, तो एक सीन ऐसा रहता था कि मतलब जो क्लोज़अप कहीं जा रहा, तो मैं ये सोचता था क्लोज़अप जाने के लिए वाइब्रेट होता एक कैमरा, तो ऐसा क्या चीज़, मैं उसके लिए बार बार सोचता था कि यार ऐसा कोई जर्क नहीं आया उसके अंदर कैमरे में, तो साइकिल की हवा कम करके थोड़ा सा वो थोड़ा जर्क ना आए उसके अंदर, तो साइकिल पे वो और एक सीन मैंने देखा कि एक उसका ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट रहता था वो सीन का, जब वो ऐसा क्रेन का यूज़ करते थे बड़ी फिल्मों में, तो मैं बार बार सोचता था कि ऐसा कौन सी चीज़ ऐसी है कि मेरे को भान दे ऊपर मैं नीचे उतरूँ। तो गौर करते करते मैं अचानक मेरी नज़र पड़ी कि वो बैलगाड़ी के ऊपर, तो फिर बैलगाड़ी के ऊपर मैंने रख के 2-3 लोगों को बोला इसको धीरे धीरे नीचे करो, तो फिर वो ट्रॉली का भी यूज़ हो गया, फिर क्रेन का भी यूज़ हो गया, तो ऐसा प्लस प्लस सब होते गया, तो वो जो सब मतलब मजबूत होती गई फिल्म, फ्रेम और फिल्म हमारी।
So I was asking him, what was it about maybe something in his childhood or his youth that made him really stubborn? If an idea comes to his head, he's just going to do it and not wait for producers and, development stuff. And he said he just had, because he saw so many films and he found them, he just wanted to tribute them in his own way. And when he wanted to take a long trolley shot, he would just reduce the air in a bicycle tires so that he got some kind of smoothness when going. And when he wanted a crane shot, he would mount the camera on a bullock cart and ask his friends to lower or have it rise gently. It's really fun. लेकिन आपका ज़िद्दी कैरेक्टर के बारे में हम पूछ रहे हैं, जो कुछ होना है तो हम करके ही करेंगे, माने छोड़ेंगे नहीं, वो क्वालिटी, ये जो आपने बताया वो इमेजिनेटिव, माने जुगाड़ का टेक्निक बनाया। मैं आपके कैरेक्टर के बारे में पूछी, जो आपके दिमाग में एक आइडिया है आप करके ही करेंगे, उसके बारे में पूछे, वो कहाँ से आया?
मतलब जो मैं फिल्म देखता था कोई भी, जैसे जब वीडियो पार्लर पे मैं लगाता था, तो वो इंसाफ करते थे फिल्म के साथ, मतलब वो सीन के साथ, कि बैकग्राउंड में ये होना चाहिए, तो वो चलता हुआ आदमी होना चाहिए, कोई सीन ऐसा खाली नहीं होना चाहिए बैकग्राउंड में। तो मैं बस मुझको जो चाहिए ना, कि मुझको मतलब वो सीन में पीछे डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं होना, और जो कैमरा मैं यूज़ करता था तो उसमें आवाज़ का प्रॉब्लम होता था उस वक्त ज़्यादा, कोई डिस्टर्बेंस, तो मैं 4-5 लोगों को ऐसा रखा था कि दूर दूर आर्टिस्ट लोग को लेके जाओ तो आवाज़ भी सही आए उसमें। तो कोई भी चीज़ के लिए मैं ज़िद करता था, मतलब हर चीज़ अगर अच्छी होना है उसको, तो फिर मैं डीप में जाके उसकी स्टडी करके फिर पूरा शूट करता था उसको।
So I was asking about his stubbornness and his determination to make films at any cost in his own way, and he told me about how it's because he saw films that he loved so much, then he was looking at details about how production design, what's in the background, are the people moving the background or are they not moving, and he was determined to. So even when he had an early camera that was a bit noisy, he would just ask people to go away so that the sound would kind of be muffled, and basically it was his insane love for cinema that actually made this happen, I think so. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। Varun, there's so much going on in this film. It's loaded from start to finish. You don't let us on for a moment where we are actually able to breathe, because it's, as Reema ji was saying, so many layers, so much in it. Really celebrating cinematic, insane invention, audacity, friendship. And for me, really, it's precious that it's also tributing a minority community that's really important in our cinema, and with so much love and affection. Were you aware that you had to have these themes, or really was it a Dil Se story and you didn't really, did you step back at any point and look, what are you actually getting out of it, or was it just a Dil Se story? How did it work for you? How did the story evolve actually?
So yeah, almost everything was organic actually. The moment Reema and Zoya called me and they said they have this, they have Nasir, and they have spoken to Nasir and Nasir's lives and works, rights they have, and they want to develop a film around Nasir. And from that moment on, everything was organic, because I was already in love with Malegaon cinema. So I knew of them. I was already, talking to Farog for a few years at that time, because Farog, as you'll see in the film, Farog is the writer of Malegaon films, and unfortunately he passed away recently. But Farog was someone who wanted to be a part of Bombay film industry also, so we kept in touch and tried to. So I knew about them. I knew about how they made their films. But a lot of things we didn't know. We didn't know why they started. The question you were recently, just now asking Nasir, why is he so stubborn, or why did they start making films? What was it in that town or in their childhoods which triggered them to be filmmakers? Because in India everyone wants to be a filmmaker, and it's just a wild dream. They also know when they say it aloud that they are never going to finish this dream or make it a reality. People just say it just to feel good about themselves. But there in Malegaon, in one of the most underprivileged towns in India, actually if you go there you will see that the facilities, the infrastructure, everything is broken. And still in that town, living in those conditions, and people who had no training to dur ki baat hai, who had no education also of a certain level to think that they can solve these technical problems, because filmmaking is a technical problem. But look at what they achieved, and look at how they achieved with very, very practical solutions to these things, how Nasir was just now explaining. So it's all, it was all too much for us to process that how did they make it happen. So that just took us on a journey, me and my research team, Shoaib and Asim, three of us went to Malegaon. We spent a few days there. We met the characters of the film in real life, and we saw that they had very rich internal lives, and that's one way you become a filmmaker. If you have an internal life, if you see the world a certain way, if you have a point of view on the world, that's like the first requirement to be a filmmaker, and they all have that. And that's something which we wanted to bring into the film, that these are not just how a lot of I would say earlier documentation of Malegaon in press, in everywhere, there was a small clip on Doordarshan also, and some other channels, news channels, how they sensationalize stuff. The gaze is very, okay, look at these people trying to do something. So there's a slight patronizing gaze, which was something I very consciously wanted to completely throw it out of the window and go and meet them and be with them. And so that was the trigger, and that's why I would say a lot of themes came organically. You can't sprinkle themes on a film or on a story. They have to be there, or they can't be there. Otherwise it will look fake and all. So yeah.
Incredibly rich. Big congratulations. Reema, the documentary is so beloved, Faiza Khan's documentary. Tell us how your film goes way beyond that.
Well, firstly, I love the documentary, but it is, it's very charming. But I think it's about a specific time in Nasir's life when he was making a film.
Right.
And our film is about what made Nasir and what made him make films in the first place. And it kind of spans over 10 years of his life to kind of try and encapsulate all of it. Yeah.
It's about the journey. Wonderful. Tomorrow's the yes,
I
please,
just want to add
please.
to that. I just feel there's a lot of this happening. A lot of people throwing this comparison and asking, and documentaries and feature films are different mediums.
Absolutely.
And it's
Absolutely.
and I think that essentially should make people understand that. So it's while it's about Nasir's life, it's a completely different piece of art,
Fictionalized,
right?
Totally, totally. Tomorrow's the big world premiere, Tiff. I wish you all a good luck. It's in the huge Roy Thompson Hall, like 2,600 seats. Big, lots of love and lots of good energy. Big congratulations. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.